Life is a game, but it's not always clear how to play it. Every day we face choices, challenges, and opportunities that shape our future. But most people never stop to really think about how they can win at this game. What does it mean to truly succeed? How can you make sure you're on the right path, not just reacting to what's happening around you, but actively creating the life you want? In this audiobook, we're going to break down exactly how you can win at the game of life by focusing on what truly matters, mastering your mindset, and making choices that lead you closer to your goals every single day. It's not about luck or waiting for the right moment. It's about taking control and making every moment count. If you're ready to stop drifting and start living with purpose, this is for you. Stick around and let's dive in. Chapter 1. Own your decisions and stop blaming others for your life. You can't win the game of life until you take full control of it. Every time you blame someone else for your problems, every time you point fingers, every time you think someone else is responsible for where you are, it's like handing over the controller to someone else and watching them play your game. The truth is harsh, but it's freeing. Your life is your responsibility. No one owes you anything. No one's coming to fix your life for you. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can begin building the life you actually want. When things go wrong, the mind looks for a target. It wants someone to hold accountable. That's a natural reaction. But maturity starts when you realize that the person who needs to step up is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Blame is the language of stagnation. Responsibility is the path to growth. When you stop blaming others, you start reclaiming your power. You stop waiting for change and start becoming the change. And once you do that, you become dangerous in the best way. Most people live in reaction mode. They react to problems, to other people's decisions, to circumstances. They wait for the right time, the perfect conditions, or a sign from someone else. But the truth is, there is no right time. There's only now. You either decide to take control of your life now, or you drift through it, watching time pass and blaming the world for not giving you what you never claimed. Owning your decisions doesn't mean you'll always be right. You'll mess up. You'll take wrong turns. You'll trust the wrong people. But that's part of it. That's how you grow. What matters is that you accept your role in every outcome. Because when you do, even the failures become tools. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every misstep becomes a map. You stop fearing failure because you know it's not the end. It's just data, feedback, information, and as long as you're the one holding the pen, you can rewrite the script as many times as you need to. You are where you are because of your decisions, not because of your boss, not because of your parents, not because of your friends, not because of the economy or the government or the weather. Your life is shaped by what you choose to do every day, and more importantly, what you choose not to do. The hardest truth to accept is the most powerful. You created this. The version of your life you're living right now, good or bad, was built by your past choices. And that's good news, because it means the version of your life you want to live can also be built by your future choices. People often say they don't have a choice. That's not true. What they really mean is the right choice is uncomfortable. The right choice requires effort. The right choice forces you to face parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. So instead of choosing growth, they choose excuses. They tell themselves stories. Stories about how someone else is holding them back. Stories about how it's too late. Stories about how things would be different if only someone else acted differently. But those are just distractions from the truth. You have more power than you realize. And the moment you stop giving it away to other people, your life changes forever. Owning your life doesn't mean you never feel pain or disappointment. It means you feel those things fully. But you don't let them define you. You get hurt, but you heal. You fall down, but you get back up. You lose, but you learn. And then you keep going, because you know no one's going to carry you. No one's going to fight your battles for you. You either stand up and take charge, or you live forever waiting for someone else to do it. Start with your daily habits. What you eat, how you move, how you speak to yourself, what you allow into your mind. All of that is a choice. Every small decision adds up. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day, but you do need to start taking ownership of what's already in your hands. If you're tired, sleep more. If you're weak, train harder. If you're lost, ask better questions. If you're distracted, remove what's in your way. The solution is always closer than it seems, but you have to stop blaming and start looking inward. It's easy to blame others. It feels good in the moment. It gives you a sense of relief, but it also steals your ability to act. If it's always someone else's fault, then you're just a victim of your life. And victims don't grow. Victims don't evolve. Victims stay stuck. You are not a victim. You are a creator, a decision maker, a builder. The only person standing between the life you have and the life you want is you. It takes courage to own your life. It means admitting when you've been lazy. It means being honest about where you've been making excuses. It means no longer hiding behind distractions. But once you take that step, something incredible happens. You become unstoppable. Because now you're not waiting. You're moving. You're building. You're choosing. And no one can take that from you. Look at the results in your life right now. Not your intentions. Not your hopes. The real results. If you don't like what you see, don't blame. Take responsibility. Ask yourself, what have I allowed? What have I avoided? What have I refused to face? What hard truths have I ignored? What easy paths have I chosen? What discipline have I lacked? These questions are uncomfortable. That's why most people never ask them. But if you're serious about winning the game of life, you need to start facing yourself with honesty. The truth doesn't care about your feelings. It won't wait until you're ready, but it will always set you free. Because once you know what needs to be done, you can stop wasting time and start doing it. Owning your decisions gives you clarity. It removes the fog. It forces you to stop talking and start doing. You stop wasting energy explaining your failures and start building a future that speaks for itself. This is not about perfection. This is about ownership. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop hiding. Show up to your life like it matters. Stop waiting for someone else to save you. No one's coming. And that's the best news you'll ever hear. Because it means it's up to you. And once it's up to you, you're in control. You will never grow if you keep blaming the past. You will never win if you keep handing your power to other people. Blame is easy. Responsibility is hard. That's why most people live average lives. But you don't have to be most people. You can decide today that this chapter of your life is different. You can decide that from this moment forward, you own everything. The wins, the losses, the choices, the outcomes. Because once you own it, you can change it. Take a look at where you've been blaming others. Maybe it's your parents for how you were raised. Maybe it's your boss for not promoting you. Maybe it's your friends for not supporting you. Maybe it's society for not giving you opportunities. Start peeling back the layers. Ask yourself, what part of this do I control? What can I do now that doesn't depend on anyone else? The answers might be small at first, but they will grow. One action leads to the next. One decision changes the direction of your life. It's not your fault where you started, but it is your responsibility where you end up. Everyone has a past. Everyone has pain. Everyone has stories. What separates those who win from those who stay stuck is one thing: ownership. Winners don't waste time explaining their pain. They use it. They turn it into fuel. They build from it. They create from it. They rise from it. That's what makes them powerful. That's what makes them unstoppable. And you have the same power inside you. There's no perfect moment to begin. There's only now. Own your mistakes. Own your dreams. Own your habits. Own your attitude. Own your future. The world will test you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will challenge you. But if you keep showing up with ownership, you cannot lose. Because even if you fall, you know how to get back up. Even if you fail, you know how to course correct. And even if you lose everything, you still have your greatest asset: your ability to choose again. Every day is a chance to rewrite your life. Every moment is an opportunity to take responsibility. And every decision you make today shapes the person you become tomorrow. If you want a better life, start with a better mindset. One built on discipline. One built on responsibility. One built on the unshakable belief that you are in charge of your destiny. This chapter isn't about motivation. It's about maturity. It's about stepping into the mindset of a leader of your own life. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more blaming. This is the beginning of a new standard, a new way of living, where you wake up every day and say, "This is my life, and I will own every part of it." Because that's how you win. You win by showing up. You win by taking full control. You win by choosing growth over blame. You win by becoming the person no one thought you could be. Not because life was easy, but because you decided it was yours. And once you make that decision, truly make it, nothing can stop you. Your power begins the moment you stop blaming and start choosing. Choose to own your story. Choose to write the next chapter with intention. Choose to live like the outcome depends on you, because it does. And the day you truly accept that is the day your life begins to change forever. Chapter 2. Develop the mindset of a winner and never settle. Winning is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not even about timing. It starts with one thing that most people ignore: your mindset. Everything you want, everything you dream about, every goal you write down, it all starts in your mind. If your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. If your beliefs are shallow, your commitment will crumble. The winners you admire didn't just train their skills, they trained their mindset to refuse average. They decided early on that they would not settle, no matter how long it took, no matter how uncomfortable it got. And that is the mindset you need to build. A winning mindset isn't born, it's created. It's built through thousands of silent choices when no one is watching. It's built in early mornings, late nights, missed parties, and hard conversations with yourself. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it's powerful. Because it controls how you show up, how you handle failure, and how you keep pushing even when things make you question your purpose. People think winners are fearless, but that's not true. Winners just don't let fear stop them. They face it, walk through it, and use it to grow. If you're going to win in life, you have to first stop thinking like someone who's waiting to be chosen. You don't wait to be picked. You don't wait to be approved. You wake up every day and you choose yourself. You move forward with conviction, even when you're unsure. You act like your goals are already real, and you back that belief with effort. That's the difference between someone who dreams and someone who achieves. Dreams don't mean anything if you don't train your mind to fight for them. A winning mindset doesn't allow excuses to stay. The moment you start explaining why you can't, why it's hard, why you're different, your mind is already drifting away from progress. Winners ask better questions. Instead of "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "How can I grow from this?" Instead of saying, "It's too hard," they say, "What can I do right now to get stronger?" They don't look for a way out, they look for a way through. And that single shift changes everything. Most people settle, not because they want to, but because they never decided not to. They accept just enough to be comfortable. They talk themselves into believing average is fine. They say things like, "It's not that bad," or "At least I'm not like them." And over time, that mindset kills their hunger. If you want to win, you must never let comfort trick you into quitting growth. You must develop the mindset that says, "I can be grateful, but I can also want more." Gratitude and ambition can live in the same heart. One keeps you grounded, and the other keeps you climbing. You can't just think like a winner on the good days. That's easy. Anyone can be motivated when things are going well. But what about the days when nothing makes sense? What about the days when no one claps for you? When results are slow? When people doubt your ability? That's when your mindset gets tested. And if you haven't built it brick by brick, it will fall apart. Winners are forged in silence. They are built in seasons of solitude. When they show up in the world with strength, it's because they already faced themselves when no one else was watching. To develop a mindset that wins, you need to stop chasing approval. Most people are afraid to stand alone. They need validation. They seek permission. But the truth is, if you need someone else to tell you it's okay to go after your dreams, you've already lost the battle. You can't build a powerful life on weak foundations. And the strongest foundation is built when you choose your values, your standards, and your path without asking the world to clap for you. Build in silence, prove it through your discipline. Winners focus on what they can control. They don't waste time worrying about opinions, gossip, or unfairness. They don't let distractions steal their energy. They stay locked in on their goals, even when life throws chaos at them. You have to decide what matters to you and protect it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. If you keep allowing the world to pull you in every direction, you'll never find the strength to build anything real. A winning mindset requires intense focus, not on everything, on the right things. Stop arguing for your limitations. Every time you say, "I'm just not that type of person," you're choosing to stay small. Every time you say, "I've never been good at that," you're writing a story that limits your future. The people who win didn't start out with all the answers. They learned, they adapted, they failed. But they never stayed stuck in the belief that their current self was the final version. You are not a finished product. You can grow, you can change, you can learn skills you never imagined. But it starts by changing how you speak to yourself. Speak with strength, speak with clarity. Tell yourself the truth, but tell it with vision. Don't lie and say everything is fine when it's not. Don't pretend you're doing your best if you're not, but do speak in a way that pushes you forward. Replace "I hope" with "I will." Replace "maybe" with "absolutely." Replace "if I can" with "when I do." These shifts matter. Your words create your internal world, and your internal world drives your actions. Winners make peace with pressure. They understand that growth comes with stress. They don't avoid challenges, they lean into them. They see hard days as tests, not punishments. They understand that strength is built through resistance. You don't grow by avoiding difficulty. You grow by facing it and staying disciplined anyway. Most people quit too soon. They feel pressure and think it's a sign to stop. But pressure is proof that something is being built. If you feel it, you're in the process. Don't run from it. Run through it. Every day, you're either building a winning mindset or weakening it. The way you wake up, the way you talk to yourself, the way you handle frustration, all of it counts. There is no such thing as a neutral day. Every moment either sharpens your edge or dulls it. That's why discipline matters. That's why routines matter. That's why keeping promises to yourself matters. Because the person you become is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally feel. You will be tempted to quit. You will be tempted to settle. But if you've built a strong mindset, you'll know that the temporary discomfort is never worth the permanent regret of giving up. Winners have long memories. They remember why they started. They remember the vision they had before the doubts crept in. And they hold that memory close, especially when everything feels heavy. If you keep your reason strong, your results will follow. You have to want it more than you're afraid of it, more than you're tired, more than you're uncomfortable, more than you want approval, more than you want shortcuts. Because there will always be reasons to slow down. There will always be distractions. But winners decide once, deeply, and then they don't waver. They don't entertain other options. They don't question their path every time things get tough. They stay locked in. They move forward with a quiet confidence. And even when the results aren't immediate, they know it's working. Because effort compounds. Because consistency always pays off. This isn't about motivation. This is about identity. You have to become the kind of person who doesn't settle, not just when you're inspired, but always. You have to rewrite the script in your mind. No more, I'll try. No more, we'll see what happens. Winners don't try. They train. They don't wish, they work. They don't hope things will change. They create the change, and they do it every single day. No matter how they feel, there is no finish line. This is a lifelong commitment. The mindset of a winner isn't built once. It's built daily, through every small decision, through every moment you feel like giving less but choose to give more, through every time you want to take a break, but instead take another step. That's what separates the strong from the average. It's not in what they say. It's in what they do when no one is watching. If you want to win, raise your standards and never lower them to match the world. The world will offer you shortcuts, easy paths, comfortable escapes, but don't take them. You weren't made to settle. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to rise, to lead, to live fully and fight for what matters. And to do that, you need a mindset that refuses to accept anything less than your full potential. You need a mind that pushes you past fear and into growth. A mind that chooses discipline over comfort. A mind that shows up, even on the hard days. The real game is mental. Master your mind, and you master your life. Build a mindset that refuses to settle. Train it through discipline. Protect it through focus. Strengthen it through action. And never let the world convince you that average is enough. Because it's not. Not for you. Not for the life you want. Not for the legacy you're here to build. You only get one life. Make sure the mindset you carry is worthy of the future you're chasing. Stop settling. Start leading.
Choose to think, act, and live like a winner every single day.
Chapter 3. Commit to consistent action and trust the process. Most people want to succeed, but very few are willing to stay consistent long enough to see the results. The truth is, success doesn't happen from a single decision or one big effort. It's not about intense action once in a while. It's about what you do over and over again, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is what builds everything meaningful in life. If you want to change your life, improve your health, build a business, or grow your mindset, you have to be willing to show up every day and do the work. No shortcuts, no excuses, just steady action toward your goals. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need massive wins every day. You just need to do something. You need to take steps forward, no matter how small. Action beats overthinking. Movement beats perfection. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll waste years. The process isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about trusting that if you keep showing up with intention and discipline, progress will come. The people who succeed are not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They trust the process even when it's slow. They keep going when motivation fades. That's how growth works. You don't always need motivation. What you need is a standard, something you live by, a code you follow even on the days when you're tired or frustrated. Consistent action is built through discipline, not emotion. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll stay stuck. You'll move in circles, always starting but never finishing. But when you decide that action is non-negotiable, everything changes. You become reliable to yourself. You stop waiting for the right mood and start focusing on the right move. You shift from being reactive to being responsible. You have to stop expecting fast results. You have to stop believing that if it doesn't work immediately, it's not worth it. Real growth is slow. It takes time. It tests your patience and your resilience. You'll face days where it feels like nothing is working. You'll question your choices. But those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that separate the committed from the casual. If you keep going, even when progress is invisible, you build something inside yourself that no one can take away. You develop grit. You develop self-respect. You start to trust yourself. The reason most people never transform their lives is because they quit halfway. They do the right thing for a week or a month, and then they get discouraged. But you can't measure growth in days. You have to think in years. You have to zoom out. You have to see the big picture. When you keep your vision in front of you, daily action becomes easier. You stop needing motivation to carry you. You build momentum through discipline. You don't chase highs. You stay grounded in habits that build real change. If you want to build anything real, you have to be okay with slow progress. You have to stop needing immediate rewards. You have to learn how to fall in love with the process. That means showing up to train even when your body is sore. It means writing when your mind is foggy. It means practicing skills when no one's watching. The process isn't always exciting, but it's always building you. Every time you take action when it's hard, you grow. You strengthen your identity. You build a version of yourself that can be trusted. Success doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to those who stay consistent when others stop. It belongs to those who stay patient when others rush. It belongs to those who keep working through the boredom, through the setbacks, through the silence. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. Every step counts. Every rep counts. Every hour invested counts. Most people underestimate what they can build in a year because they overestimate what they can do in a day. Focus on the long game. Play to win slowly. Stop comparing your journey to others. Everyone moves at a different pace. What matters is that you move with purpose. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. Get better than that version. Improve your habits. Strengthen your thoughts. Elevate your actions. That's the process. One step every day. Not perfect steps, just consistent ones. Keep your attention on what you can control. Ignore the noise. Trust that your effort is working, even if you can't see it yet. Results are never random. They are the outcome of consistent inputs. If you want different results, change what you do daily. Track your behavior. Stay accountable. When you drift off course, adjust. When you fall, get back up immediately. Winners don't stay down. They don't dwell. They reset and continue. That's the mindset that builds consistency. It's not about never failing. It's about never staying stuck. Most people fail because they wait until they feel ready. But readiness is a trap. It keeps you in your head, doubting, planning, hesitating. You don't need to feel ready to act. You need to act to become ready. You need to build courage through action. You gain clarity by doing, not by thinking. Every time you choose action over delay, you prove to yourself that you are capable. That belief builds over time. You start to trust yourself. You become someone who finishes what they start. Consistency creates freedom. When your habits are strong, you don't rely on willpower. You don't waste energy deciding what to do. You just do it. That structure liberates you. It creates space for creativity, energy, and confidence. You know who you are. You know what matters. You don't have to guess. That's what discipline gives you: peace of mind and power of choice. If you want to win in life, don't look for intensity. Look for consistency. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. The person who works with discipline for a year will outperform the person who works with intensity for a month. Consistency compounds. It multiplies your effort. It turns small habits into big results. That's how you change your life. Not through one big leap, but through thousands of small steps stacked over time. Trust is everything. You have to trust the process, even when it's slow, even when it's unclear, even when it's frustrating. The path is never linear. Progress is messy. Some days you'll feel like you're losing ground. Other days you'll move forward fast. But what matters is that you keep going, that you stay the course, that you don't let doubt pull you off track. Trust that your consistent action is creating results, even if they haven't shown up yet. Your life is a reflection of your habits. Look at what you do daily. Look at how you spend your time. Look at where your attention goes. That's your future. If you want a different life, start with different actions. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for permission. Start small. Start now. Do something every day that pulls you toward your goals. Over time, those actions will transform your identity. You'll go from someone who tries to someone who does. From someone who starts to someone who finishes. Commitment isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. That's the core of character. That's the foundation of strength. And that's how you build a life you're proud of. You don't get there by wishing. You get there by working. Day after day. Repetition, discipline, patience. That's the formula. Stop looking for motivation. Build structure. Build systems. Set up your life so that success is the default. Remove distractions. Design your environment. Surround yourself with discipline. Make your habits easy to follow and hard to break.
That's how you make consistent action sustainable. Not by relying on emotion, but by engineering your daily life to support your goals. Consistency is a mindset. It's a belief that what you do matters. It's a commitment to growth, not results. Results will come, but they're a side effect. The real win is becoming someone who shows up for themselves every day. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who doesn't lower their standards. Someone who does what they said they would do, long after the feeling is gone. That's what builds pride. That's what builds confidence. That's what builds a life of meaning. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to take the next step, and then another, and then another. That's how mountains are climbed. That's how lives are transformed. Not by waiting, not by wishing, but by walking forward, day after day, even when the path feels slow. Trust the process. Commit to the journey. Show up every day with effort, focus, and belief. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you become the person you were meant to be. Keep showing up. Keep moving forward. Keep building the life you deserve. One consistent action at a time.
Chapter 4. Break free from comfort zones and embrace discomfort daily. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear that you're doing enough, that you've earned rest, that you don't need to try anything new. It rewards you with temporary ease while slowly draining your potential. The longer you stay there, the more you convince yourself that you can't live without it. It becomes your routine, your mindset, your identity, and before you know it, you're stuck. Not because you aren't capable of more, but because you stop choosing the difficult path. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort, and every day you avoid it is a day you delay becoming who you're meant to be. The hard truth is, you can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Progress demands discomfort. The very thing you're trying to avoid is the key to your transformation. Pain is part of the process. Not the kind that breaks you, but the kind that sharpens you. The kind that reminds you that you're alive, and that you're reaching beyond what you already know. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It exposes your weaknesses, tests your character, and stretches your limits. It reveals how much you really want the life you say you want. The moment you start doing what's uncomfortable, your entire world begins to shift. You stop fearing challenge and start embracing it. You stop seeking approval and start seeking growth. The fear that once held you back begins to lose its grip. You begin to operate from strength rather than fear. You make decisions based on what's right, not what's easy. You start to trust that you can handle more than you thought. You become someone who leans into discomfort instead of running from it. That's how real change happens, not through inspiration, but through action that challenges your comfort every single day. No one builds mental strength by avoiding struggle. You get stronger by doing what you don't want to do. You become more resilient by facing what scares you. That's how discipline is forged. That's how confidence is built. Not in theory, but in battle. In the quiet moments where you choose to do the hard thing, when no one is watching. The alarm goes off early, and you get up anyway. The workout hurts, and you finish anyway. The difficult conversation feels uncomfortable, and you speak anyway. These are the acts that rewire your mind. These are the reps that build power. You don't rise by staying the same. You rise by choosing discomfort on purpose. By walking straight into the resistance and saying, "This won't break me." That's how you gain control over your mind. That's how you stop being controlled by comfort. You take your power back by proving that you can face what you once avoided. You stop shrinking your goals to fit your comfort zone, and you start expanding your comfort zone to fit your goals. The moment you stop playing it safe is the moment your real life begins. Everything you want, clarity, strength, fulfillment, progress, is hiding behind the pain of discipline. Most people never reach it because they turn back too soon. They feel the heat of discomfort and retreat. They expect growth to feel good. But growth isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to feel unfamiliar. If it doesn't, you're not growing. You're just repeating what you already know. Each time you choose comfort over growth, you reinforce weakness. You tell your mind that it's okay to settle, that it's okay to quit, and your mind believes it. But when you choose the harder path, even in the smallest ways, you start to build strength. You start to program yourself to fight instead of flee. You start to see discomfort not as a threat, but as a signal that you're moving in the right direction. That shift in mindset is everything. It changes how you show up. It changes what you believe you can handle. It changes what you expect from yourself. The more you seek discomfort, the less power it has over you. Cold showers, early mornings, tough workouts, long days, disciplined routines, these are not punishments. They're opportunities. They're tools to train your mind, to stop relying on ease. They remind you that struggle builds strength. That pain sharpens purpose. That suffering is often a sign that you're pushing your limits. And pushing limits is how you grow. You can't cheat that process. You have to earn your transformation. And that means getting uncomfortable over and over again. Comfort zones are prisons with invisible walls. They don't look dangerous. In fact, they feel safe. But that's what makes them so lethal. They convince you that you're okay where you are, that you're not ready, that more effort isn't worth it. And that mindset kills dreams. It kills passion. It kills progress. You start settling for average when you were meant for extraordinary. You start settling for survival when you were meant to thrive. You don't need a dramatic life change to escape your comfort zone. You need consistent decisions that push you past what's familiar. You need to challenge yourself daily in ways that feel small but stretch your capacity. Choose the difficult option. Say yes to the opportunity that scares you. Take the first step even if you don't feel ready. Train your mind to associate discomfort with growth, not fear. That's how you take control of your life. The people who win aren't fearless. They're just trained to act in spite of fear. They've built a habit of walking into the fire. That's the difference. It's not about being naturally brave. It's about choosing bravery when it matters. You don't need to feel courageous to act. You need to act to become courageous. You become brave by doing hard things again and again until your mind adapts. That's the real victory. Not just reaching your goals, but becoming the kind of person who chases them with full force. When you live in comfort, you stop evolving. You stop reaching. You stop becoming. You lose your edge. You forget what you're capable of. But the moment you step outside that bubble, you wake something up inside you. A fire, a hunger, a sense of purpose. And that fire can only be fed by doing what's difficult. The more you feed it, the more alive you feel. That's the trade-off, temporary pain for lasting growth. A little discomfort now for strength that lasts forever. Every day is a chance to break the pattern, to say no to comfort and yes to progress. You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be intentional. Do one thing that stretches you, one action that makes you a little uncomfortable. Over time, those choices change you. They build discipline.
They build courage, they build resilience, and eventually what once felt uncomfortable becomes your new standard. That's how you expand. That's how you evolve. Not through giant leaps, but through small, consistent acts of courage. You don't get stronger by avoiding the hard things. You get stronger by facing them head-on. That's how confidence is earned. That's how mental toughness is built. You earn it in the gym when you finish the last rep. You earn it in your work when you stay disciplined through the boring tasks. You earn it in life when you keep going, even when nothing is going your way. That's the reality most people run from. But if you face it, if you accept it, and if you embrace it, you become unstoppable. Your limits are not real. They're beliefs. They're stories you've accepted as truth because they've gone unchallenged. But when you expose yourself to discomfort, those limits start to fall apart. You realize you're capable of more than you ever imagined. You realize that your comfort was never safety. It was a ceiling. And the only way to break through is to keep testing your boundaries, to keep walking into the unknown, to keep leaning into fear and pain and uncertainty with a steady hand and a focused mind. There is no easy path to greatness, no shortcut, no hack, only discomfort, discipline and deliberate effort. That's the process. It's not glamorous. It's not fun most of the time, but it works. If you commit to it, if you live by it, if you embrace it, it will change your life. It will turn you into someone who doesn't just survive challenges but thrives through them. Someone who doesn't run from adversity but uses it as fuel. Someone who doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect but moves with purpose, no matter the obstacles. Stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. Stop waiting for things to feel good and start doing what needs to be done. Stop playing small and start living bold. Your comfort zone will always try to hold you back. It will offer you excuses, distractions and justifications, but you don't owe it anything. You owe yourself more than a life of ease. You owe yourself the chance to find out how powerful you can become when you stop playing it safe. This is the path. This is the way forward. Not easy, not convenient, but necessary. Discomfort is your compass. Follow it. Let it guide you to a life worth living. Let it strip away the weakness, the fear, the hesitation. Let it shape you into someone who shows up no matter what. Someone who doesn't fold under pressure. Someone who takes risks, grows relentlessly, and refuses to settle. Embrace the challenge. Embrace the pain. Embrace the unknown. It's all part of the process. And the process is what makes you strong. Stay uncomfortable. Stay hungry. Stay committed. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you break free.
Chapter 5. Strengthen your mental toughness to conquer life's challenges. Mental toughness is not about pretending you're unaffected by life's weight. It's about learning how to carry that weight with clarity, control, and quiet strength. Every person faces hardship. Every life has storms. But not everyone survives those storms the same way. Some break under the pressure. Others bend but never fold. The difference lies in the mind. A strong mind doesn't panic when life gets messy. It doesn't crumble when things don't go according to plan. It adapts. It holds steady. It finds a way to move forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. That's what mental toughness really is. The ability to stay centered when everything around you is trying to throw you off balance. You can't fake inner strength. You can't borrow it. You can't buy it. You build it. Through repeated exposure to challenges, through intentional decisions that force you to face your weaknesses. It's earned through pressure, forged in difficulty and refined through experience. No one wakes up mentally tough. It's a muscle. You train it. You stretch it. You grow it by choosing not to quit when it's easier to give up. Every time you face something uncomfortable and push through it, your mind becomes stronger. Every time you silence the doubt and stay the course, you increase your capacity. This isn't motivational fluff. This is real. This is how people rebuild themselves after loss, failure, or defeat. Mental toughness begins with discipline. Discipline means doing what you said you'd do, even when the feeling you made the decision with is gone. It means controlling your response when things go wrong instead of reacting emotionally. Life will not always go the way you want. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. You will fail, struggle, and feel lost at times. But the moment you allow emotions to hijack your decisions, you lose control. Mental toughness is taking responsibility for how you respond. It's choosing logic over impulse, patience over panic, action over excuses, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. A tough mind doesn't wait for life to get easier. It gets better at handling life. The challenges don't shrink, but your ability to face them grows. When you shift your focus from wishing things were different to getting stronger within, everything changes. You stop expecting the world to be fair. You stop hoping someone will come save you. You stop needing things to be perfect before you start. You begin to work with what you have. You make progress with what's available. That mindset alone separates the strong from the fragile. You have to train your mind the same way you train your body, with consistency, with intent. You can't build toughness by sitting around and waiting for motivation. You build it by doing hard things daily. Start by keeping small promises to yourself. Wake up when you said you would. Follow through on your plans. Finish what you start. Push a little harder when you want to quit. Those small acts may seem insignificant, but they are powerful. They are the foundation. They train your mind to trust you. And trust is everything. Because when things get chaotic, you need to be able to rely on yourself. You need to know that you won't run, won't fold, won't fall apart. Mental toughness also requires clarity. You can't be mentally strong if you're unclear about what matters to you. You must know your values. You must know your standards. You must be clear on your priorities. That clarity becomes your compass when you're in chaos. It helps you make hard decisions. It helps you ignore distractions. It gives you something to hold on to when emotions try to pull you in different directions. If you don't define what's important to you, life will do it for you, and life doesn't always choose what's best for your growth. You must also accept that discomfort is part of the process. Being tough doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you learn how to function through it. It means you stop expecting life to be comfortable and start expecting yourself to be resilient. You get used to the struggle. You normalize effort. You embrace the grind. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you understand that nothing meaningful comes without it. Growth, freedom, confidence, they are on the other side of discomfort. Every time you avoid pain, you avoid progress. But every time you choose to confront what scares you, you reinforce your strength. Control your self-talk. The words you speak to yourself shape the way you think, feel, and act. A mentally weak mind is filled with doubt, blame, and fear. A mentally strong mind is filled with conviction, ownership, and purpose. You must speak to yourself with strength. Not delusion, not fake positivity, but truth. Tell yourself you can handle it. Tell yourself this won't break you. Remind yourself of what you've overcome. Remind yourself that quitting is not an option. This internal dialogue becomes the soundtrack in your mind when adversity hits.
If you feed your mind with garbage, you'll respond like a victim. If you feed your mind with power, you'll rise like a warrior. Another key to mental toughness is emotional control. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore them. It means you don't let them control your behavior. Emotions are real, but they are not always reliable. You can feel tired and still take action. You can feel anxious and still speak up. You can feel fear and still move forward. That's strength. That's maturity. When you stop letting your emotions dictate your direction, you become unstoppable. You learn how to move with intent instead of reacting out of habit. You learn to pause, breathe, reflect and respond from a place of strength. Mentally strong people don't seek approval. They don't chase validation. They don't wait for permission. They know that growth requires making unpopular decisions. It means standing alone sometimes. It means choosing the hard path when others choose the easy one. That takes courage. That takes belief. That takes a deep connection to your values. If you always need external validation, you'll constantly be chasing acceptance at the cost of your growth. You'll be a prisoner to other people's opinions. But if you build your identity from the inside out, you become unshakable. What others think may distract you, but it won't destroy you. Resilience is not about bouncing back. It's about moving forward with wisdom. Every setback is a chance to learn. Every mistake is feedback. Every loss is an invitation to sharpen your focus. The mentally strong don't deny their struggles. They use them. They analyze. They reflect. They adapt. They use pain as fuel, not as a reason to stop. They don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. That shift in thinking transforms how you approach challenges. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you start seeing it as a doorway to the next level. Your environment matters. The people you surround yourself with can either strengthen your mind or weaken it. You need to be around those who challenge you, who remind you of your potential, who push you to stay accountable. Mentally weak people complain, make excuses, and stay stuck. Being around them drains your energy and dulls your edge. You must protect your mind by protecting your space. Choose relationships that reinforce your growth. Build a circle that expects the best from you. That type of energy is contagious, and it helps you stay sharp even when you feel like slipping. You must also learn how to focus. A distracted mind is a weak mind. Mental toughness requires attention. You need to be fully present in what you're doing. Not half in, not mindlessly drifting. When you focus, you engage with life at a deeper level. You notice the small details. You gain control over your reactions. You make better decisions. But focus is a skill. It's trained by resisting distractions, by choosing depth over noise, by being intentional with your time, your energy, your attention. You can't strengthen your mind if you're always escaping reality through entertainment or distractions. You have to face life head-on. Another pillar of mental strength is responsibility. You can't build toughness if you're always blaming. If you always point the finger, you give your power away. You stay stuck in victim mode. Mentally strong individuals take full ownership of their lives. They don't wait for ideal conditions. They don't complain about what they can't control. They double down on what they can control: their thoughts, their actions, their attitude. Responsibility is empowering. It puts the power back in your hands. It reminds you that you're not helpless. You have the ability to shape your reality, even if the circumstances aren't perfect. Lastly, consistency matters more than intensity. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be committed. Day after day, rip after rip, moment by moment. That's how you get strong. Not by doing everything perfectly. Not by having massive breakthroughs. but by staying in the fight, by showing up when it's hard, by refusing to give up on yourself when things don't go your way. Consistency builds credibility with yourself. It proves that you're reliable. And when you trust yourself, you stop hesitating. You start taking bold action. That's where real progress lives. Mental toughness is available to anyone who wants it. It's not based on where you're from, what you've been through, or how talented you are. It's based on how you train, how you think, how you show up. You can start today, not by changing everything at once, but by doing one hard thing on purpose, and then doing it again tomorrow, and again the next day. Stack those wins, build that mindset, and keep going, especially when you don't feel like it. Your mind is your most powerful weapon. Sharpen it daily, guard it fiercely, train it intentionally, and when life tries to break you, you'll rise. Not because the storm passed, but because you became stronger than the storm.
Chapter 6. Build habits that lead you closer to your goals. Every goal, no matter how big or ambitious, begins with the smallest of choices. It doesn't begin with the dream. It begins with the behavior you repeat when no one is watching. It begins with the decision you make when you're tired, distracted, or discouraged. The truth is, nothing changes in your life until your habits do. You don't rise to the level of your ambitions, you fall to the level of your systems. And if your habits don't reflect where you want to go, your goals remain nothing more than distant hopes. It's easy to talk about where you want to be. It's easy to write plans, set targets, and visualize the future. But none of it matters if your daily behavior doesn't reflect those intentions. Your future is being shaped in the present. It's being shaped by your choices, your routines, your attitude. A goal is just a compass. It gives you direction. But habits are the engine. Without them, you stay stuck. Without them, you stay inconsistent. Without them, your life becomes a cycle of short bursts of motivation, followed by long stretches of regret. Building habits that move you forward requires you to think long-term. It's not about what works for a day. It's about what you can sustain for months, even years. You have to stop chasing the perfect routine and start practicing the right actions. Don't waste time trying to be flawless. Focus on being consistent. The greatest habits are not impressive at first. They're small, they're simple, but they build momentum. They reinforce who you're becoming, and over time, they transform everything. You have to reverse engineer your goals. Start with where you want to be. Then ask yourself, what kind of habits would someone at that level have? Don't wait until you get there to start acting like that person. Become that person now. If your goal is discipline, practice showing up daily. If your goal is health, commit to movement and nutrition. If your goal is mastery, devote time to your craft. Don't complicate it. Make your habits match your vision. If they don't, your vision will always feel far away. It's not enough to rely on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. You can't build anything lasting if your effort depends on how you feel. What you need is structure. You need to build your days around routines that don't require you to think, just to act. That's how you make progress automatic. That's how you remove the guesswork. That's how you keep moving, even when life gets busy or hard. When your habits are solid, you don't have to restart every time you fall. You pick up where you left off. The beginning is always the hardest. That's where most people fail. They try to do too much too fast. They expect instant results. And when they don't see progress right away, they quit. But real transformation is subtle. It's invisible at first. You don't notice the change day to day. You notice it months later,
when you look back and realize you've become someone new. That's why patience matters. That's why tracking your habits matters. It reminds you that even when progress feels slow, it's still progress. You must design your environment to support your habits. Willpower alone is not enough. If your surroundings make it easy to fall back into old patterns, you will. So you need to make the right choice, the easy choice. Keep your phone in another room when you need to focus. Prepare your meals in advance to avoid impulsive eating. Lay out your clothes the night before if you want to wake up early and train. Set your life up so that success becomes convenient and failure becomes inconvenient. The people you surround yourself with will either reinforce or destroy your habits. You can't grow if you're around people who normalize excuses, distractions, and comfort. You need people who remind you of your standards, who call you out when you slip, who push you to stay aligned with your purpose. Sometimes the greatest habit change you can make is upgrading your environment, including your relationships. Choose people who reflect the kind of life you want to live. Their habits will shape yours, whether you realize it or not. Another key to building habits that matter is identity. Stop saying, "I'm trying," to start saying, "I am someone who." This subtle shift changes how you see yourself. And how you see yourself affects how you act. When you believe you're someone who honors their word, you stop breaking promises to yourself. When you believe you're someone who pursues growth, you stop wasting time on things that shrink you. Identity shapes action, and consistent action reinforces identity. It's a feedback loop that either builds you or breaks you. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose one habit, focus on it until it becomes automatic. Then build from there. The compound effect of a single habit practiced daily is far greater than the inconsistency of multiple habits practiced occasionally. Simplicity leads to success. Pick the one action that would have the greatest impact on your progress and commit to it fully. Then expand. Don't rush. Mastery takes time. What matters is the trajectory, not the pace. You must learn to track your habits, not to be perfect, but to stay accountable. Measurement creates awareness. Awareness leads to improvement. When you track your habits, you can't lie to yourself. You can't pretend you're doing the work when you're not. It forces you to face the truth, and that truth becomes your fuel. Even if you mess up, you can course correct. You can see patterns. You can adjust with precision, but if you're guessing, you're drifting. Discipline is the bridge between your habits and your results. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. There will be moments when the habit feels boring, repetitive, or unrewarding. That's when you have to remember why you started. That's when you have to lean on discipline, not emotion. The people who win in life are not the ones who always feel inspired. They're the ones who act with consistency even when the spark is gone. Discipline carries you when excitement fades. Discipline is the habit of execution. Failure is part of the process. You will miss days. You will slip. You will get distracted. But that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones get back on track faster. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They don't wait for the perfect moment to restart. They reset immediately. They forgive themselves, reflect, and re-engage. That bounce-back muscle is just as important as the habit itself. You also need to celebrate progress, not with ego but with awareness. Notice the wins. Give yourself credit when you keep your word. Acknowledge the discipline, reinforce the behavior. The brain responds to reward, and if all you do is punish yourself for falling short, you won't stay consistent for long. Habits that last are built on encouragement, not guilt. They're built on progress, not pressure. Every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. And those votes accumulate over time. Your habits are a reflection of your values. They reveal what matters to you. If your days are filled with distraction, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you've allowed your habits to drift from your priorities. Bring them back. Reconnect with what you care about. Make sure your time, your energy, and your attention are aligned with the life you want to create. Don't just live on autopilot. Live on purpose. Habits also require space. You can't build new routines if your life is cluttered with distractions, obligations, and noise. Create room for focus. Remove what doesn't serve you. Say no more often. Simplify. Protect your mornings. Guard your evenings. Design a life that supports your progress instead of sabotaging it. This isn't about becoming robotic. It's about creating rhythm. Rhythm builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Most people wait their whole lives for the perfect time to start, and that time never comes. If you want to build habits that change your life, you have to start before you're comfortable. You have to act in the face of resistance. That initial step is where most people hesitate. But the moment you start, you shift your identity. You go from a dreamer to a doer, from someone who talks about change to someone who lives it. Habits are not about restriction, they're about freedom. When your actions are aligned with your goals, you feel lighter, more confident, more powerful. You wake up with clarity. You go to bed with peace. You know you're moving in the right direction, and that gives you strength. Bad habits drain your energy. Good habits restore it. And the more aligned your behavior becomes with your values, the more fulfilled you feel. Nothing changes until your habits do. You can wish, plan, or hope all day, but if your behavior doesn't match your vision, you stay stuck. If you want real progress, build routines that are rooted in discipline. Commit to the boring work. Stay focused. Track your effort. Reflect often, and above all, don't stop. Because the version of you that reaches those goals isn't waiting in the future. That version is being created right now, by what you choose to do today.
Chapter 7. Master time management and use your time wisely. Time is the one resource every human being has in equal measure. No one gets more. No one gets less. It doesn't matter how wealthy, talented, or connected you are, each day gives you the same 24 hours. What separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who remain stuck isn't the amount of time they have. It's how they use it. It's what they choose to prioritize. It's how intentionally they structure their lives around the things that truly matter. When you begin to master time, you start to master your life, because your entire future depends on what you do with the minutes you have right now. Too many people treat time as if it's infinite. They act like they'll always have more chances, more days, more time to figure it out. But they won't. Time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause while you overthink. It doesn't slow down when you're stuck. It moves forward with or without you. And if you don't learn to take control of it, you'll wake up one day and realize that most of your life was spent reacting instead of creating. You'll look back and see hours spent on distractions, days spent in hesitation, and years spent waiting for the perfect time that never came. Managing your time isn't about being busy. It's about being intentional. There are people who fill their schedules with constant activity and still make no progress toward their goals. They confuse movement with achievement. They mistake chaos for productivity. But real growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters. It comes from eliminating the unnecessary and doubling down on the essential. It's about identifying the few actions that create the biggest results and making those actions non-negotiable. You have to be ruthless with your priorities. You can't say yes to everything and expect to get anywhere meaningful. Every yes is a no to something else. Every time you give your energy to things that don't move your life forward, you rob your future self. Time management begins with clarity. You have to know what matters most to you. You have to define what success looks like in your life. Then you align your calendar, your commitments, and your attention with that vision. Without clarity, your time gets hijacked by distractions and other people's agendas. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your morning in chaos, checking your phone, scrolling, reacting to messages, you enter the day on someone else's terms. But if you begin your day with intention, reflection, planning, action, you reclaim control. You move with purpose. You make decisions based on your goals instead of your impulses. One of the greatest time management habits is protecting your morning. Don't let the outside world dictate your direction before you've even had time to focus on yourself. You must learn to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Urgency creates pressure, but importance creates progress. Most people spend their lives responding to emergencies and putting out fires, while their biggest dreams sit on the back burner. You have to train yourself to slow down and assess. Ask yourself, is this moving me closer to my purpose, or is it just noise? Time management is the discipline of choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. It's the practice of saying no more than you say yes. Distractions are everywhere. Your phone, social media, emails, notifications, they all steal your focus in small but powerful ways. Each time you get pulled away, you lose momentum. You lose clarity. You waste precious minutes reorienting yourself. One of the most powerful things you can do is design your environment for deep work. Turn off notifications. Create time blocks where you're unreachable. Use a timer. Set boundaries. Focus is a skill, and every time you practice it, you build strength. The more focused your time becomes, the faster your progress accelerates. Planning your days isn't about rigidity, it's about ownership. When you plan, you make decisions in advance. You remove guesswork. You set yourself up to win. Without a plan, you drift. You move from one task to the next without any real intention. Planning allows you to look at your day before it begins and say, here's where my energy will go. Here's what matters most today. Here's what I refuse to neglect. When you do this consistently, your results compound. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. And before you know it, your entire life has shifted. Stop waiting for more time. Start using the time you already have more wisely. Everyone is busy. Everyone has responsibilities. But the people who succeed are the ones who carve out space for growth. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They create routines that support their goals even when life is messy. If you want to write, schedule it. If you want to train, make it part of your day. If you want to learn, block off time to study. Don't try to find time. Make time. Create structure. Your time is either designed or it's default. Take control of the design. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer time wasters in your schedule. Audit your days honestly. How much time do you spend on tasks that don't really matter? How often do you say yes out of guilt, fear, or habit? How often do you allow interruptions to steal your momentum?
You can't grow if you're constantly distracted. You can't build anything meaningful if your attention is fragmented. Focus is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. Guard it fiercely. Protect your time like your future depends on it, because it does. Time management is also about energy management. It's not just how much time you have. It's how much energy you can bring to what matters. If you're constantly exhausted, you won't perform at your best, even if your schedule is perfect. So take care of your body. Prioritize sleep. Move your body. Fuel yourself with real food. Learn to rest without guilt. Recharging isn't laziness, it's preparation. When your energy is high, your time becomes more powerful. You think clearer. You move faster. You make better decisions. One of the greatest mistakes people make is underestimating the value of small time blocks. They wait for a big chunk of free time to start something meaningful. But those big blocks rarely come. Life is full of interruptions. Instead, use the gaps. Use the 15 minutes between meetings. Use the 20 minutes before bed. Use the short moments that most people waste. Read a few pages. Write a paragraph. Reflect on your goals. Progress isn't made in giant leaps. It's made in daily commitment. It's made in how you use the little windows of opportunity throughout your day. Consistency always beats intensity. 1 hour of focused work every day will outperform 10 hours of chaotic effort once a month. Make your routines non-negotiable. Set times for your most important tasks and honor them like appointments. Discipline creates freedom. The more structured your schedule becomes, the more freedom you gain to focus on what really matters. Freedom is not the absence of structure. Freedom is the result of mastering your time so well that you're no longer a prisoner to distractions and chaos. Learn to review your days. Don't just go through the motions. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I use my time wisely? What did I learn? What could I do better tomorrow? Self-reflection turns experience into insight. Without it, you repeat mistakes. With it, you gain clarity. You sharpen your priorities. You become more efficient. Time management isn't just about planning forward. It's also about looking back and improving. Let go of perfectionism. You will not manage your time perfectly. You will have off days. You will get distracted. You will slip. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The key is to reset quickly. Don't let a bad day turn into a bad week. Don't use one mistake as an excuse to abandon your schedule. Just get back on track. Each day is a fresh opportunity to show up with more focus, more clarity, and more purpose. Remember that saying yes to something always means saying no to something else. Time is finite. Every choice has a cost. So choose wisely. Choose based on your values. Choose based on your goals. Don't fill your days with obligations that drain you and then wonder why you have no time for the things that matter. Be intentional with your commitments. Be selective with your attention. Be bold enough to say no without guilt. Time is not something to manage once in a while. It's something you must respect every day. Every hour spent in alignment with your goals moves you closer to the life you want. Every hour wasted is one you can't get back. This isn't about being robotic. It's about being awake. It's about refusing to drift. It's about taking full ownership of the hours you're given. Because time is not the enemy. Time is the test. It's asking you every day, what will you do with me? You don't need to work every minute, but you do need to own every minute. Even rest should be intentional. Even breaks should serve a purpose. Make time to recharge. Make time for relationships. Make time for reflection. But don't let your time slip by without purpose. Life is too short to waste on things that don't matter, and it's too precious to spend reacting to everything around you. Mastering time isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about showing up each day with clarity, discipline, and a sense of urgency. It's about knowing that the minutes you're given today are shaping who you become tomorrow. Your future is being written with your calendar, your habits, your daily decisions. Use your time with wisdom. Use it with courage. Use it with purpose. Because once it's gone, and the life you want is waiting on the other side of how you choose to use it now.
Chapter 8. Cultivate a resilient mindset and thrive in adversity. Life will challenge you whether you're ready or not. It doesn't give warnings before it tests your patience, strength, or belief in yourself. One day you might feel like everything is in place, and the next you're dealing with setbacks you never saw coming. That's the nature of life. It's unpredictable, messy, and often unfair. But what determines how far you'll go isn't whether things go smoothly, it's how you respond when they don't. A resilient mind doesn't hope for an easy path, it prepares to stand firm on the hardest ones. You can't build strength without resistance. You don't develop resilience in moments of comfort. You forge it in the fire of setbacks, through the frustration of failure, and by pushing through days when giving up feels easier than going on. The people who grow the most aren't those who avoid adversity. They're the ones who embrace it as part of the process. They don't run from difficulty. They face it head-on and allow it to shape them into something stronger. When life knocks you down, resilience is what gets you back up without needing applause or pity. It's the inner decision to keep moving forward when you're tired, when you're uncertain, and when nothing seems to be going your way. It's not about pretending to be invincible. It's about choosing to keep going even when you feel broken. Resilience is a quiet form of courage. It's the decision to say, "This will not break me," even when your voice shakes. Building a resilient mindset doesn't happen overnight. It starts with how you talk to yourself in tough moments. Do you spiral into self-pity and blame? Or do you stop, breathe, and ask, "What now?" Resilient people don't deny their pain, but they don't dwell in it either. They acknowledge it, learn from it, and then use it as fuel. They trust that every setback carries a lesson, even if it's not immediately clear. They know that nothing they've faced so far has stopped them, and this won't either. You grow stronger every time you refuse to let hardship define you. Every time you choose action over excuses, reflection over reaction, and discipline over emotion, you cultivate something within yourself that can't be shaken by external circumstances. Your ability to thrive in adversity depends on your willingness to look it in the eye and keep moving forward anyway. That's where your power lives. That's where true growth begins. There's no perfect plan for dealing with life's storms, but there is a mindset that helps you weather them. A mindset that doesn't crumble when things fall apart. A mindset that stays grounded in reality, but refuses to accept defeat. You don't develop this mindset by reading about it. You develop it by living through the pain and still showing up with purpose. You develop it by proving to yourself that you're stronger than the chaos around you. Adversity strips away the excess. It forces you to see who you really are, without the comfort of routine, the illusion of control, or the validation of others. It reveals what you're made of. And when you survive what you once thought would break you, you carry that strength with you forever. That strength becomes part of your identity. It becomes a quiet confidence that says, "I've been through worse. I can handle this." You don't become resilient by wishing things were easier. You become resilient by developing the capacity to stay composed when things get harder. That means practicing emotional control when emotions run high. It means staying disciplined when motivation disappears. It means leaning into discomfort instead of avoiding it. Resilience is a lifestyle. It's a daily decision to prepare your mind before the storm comes so you don't get swept away by it. A resilient mindset doesn't avoid pain, it transforms it. It sees setbacks as signals, not stop signs. It treats every failure as feedback. It knows that strength is built in the struggle, not on the sidelines. Every hardship has the potential to refine your focus, sharpen your perspective, and deepen your discipline, if you allow it. You have to stop running from difficulty and start welcoming it as the thing that will mold you into who you're meant to be. Your mindset controls how you process adversity. Two people can face the same problem. One breaks, the other builds. The difference is in their internal dialogue. One sees a challenge as a wall, the other sees it as a test. One sees pain as punishment, the other sees it as preparation. You must choose which lens you'll use to view your setbacks. Will you let them define you, or will you let them refine you? There is no substitute for resilience. Talent won't carry you when life gets hard. Intelligence won't protect you from pain, but resilience will give you the strength to keep showing up. It will give you the courage to continue, even when the progress is slow and the results are invisible. It's what keeps you grounded when everything else is falling apart. You won't always feel strong, but resilience reminds you that you don't have to feel strong to be strong. Thriving in adversity doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you don't quit during the struggle. It means you don't let hard times become permanent states. You face what you must, feel what you need, and keep doing what's required. You separate your emotions from your responsibilities. You do the work, not because it's easy or comfortable, but because you made a decision to not let anything stop your growth. Resilient people don't expect fairness, they expect reality. They know that sometimes effort won't be rewarded immediately. Sometimes progress will be invisible. Sometimes the only win is that they didn't give up. And that's enough, because they're not chasing results. They're becoming someone who can handle whatever comes. They don't need everything to go their way. They just need to stay in the game long enough to let their consistency pay off. If you want to thrive through adversity, stop trying to avoid discomfort. Lean into it. Ask, what is this here to teach me? Use every challenge as an opportunity to upgrade your mindset. Turn every loss into leverage. When something doesn't go as planned, shift your energy from frustration to focus. Ask yourself, what's the next best move? And take it. That's how you reclaim power when life tries to take it from you. Resilience isn't a gift, it's a practice. It's built through repetition, through choosing growth over comfort one day at a time, through doing what's required, even when it doesn't feel good. It's not glamorous, but it's transformative. And every day you show up with that mindset, you're rewriting your future. You're building a version of yourself that doesn't just survive adversity, but thrives because of it. There will always be moments that test you, that shake your confidence, that make you question if it's worth it. But if you keep showing up, especially on those days, you'll start to realize that resilience isn't about having everything figured out. It's about continuing anyway. It's about trusting that what you're going through now is shaping you for what's coming next. And that belief will carry you through what motivation can't. You don't have to be fearless to be resilient. You just have to be willing to keep going when you don't feel ready. Willing to take one more step when you're exhausted. Willing to show up when no one's watching. That's how you build grit. That's how you develop inner strength. And over time, that strength becomes your foundation. It becomes the reason nothing can break you the way it used to.
Pain is part of the journey, but so is progress. If you can learn to sit with the discomfort and keep moving forward, there's nothing you can't overcome. The strongest people you know didn't have easy lives. They developed strong minds. They made a choice to turn their pain into purpose, their wounds into wisdom, and their struggles into fuel. You can make that choice too. Every time life tests you, answer with action. Every time you feel like quitting, recommit. You don't rise above adversity by avoiding the storm. You rise by standing in it, staying centered, and refusing to be shaken. You rise by reminding yourself that every challenge has an expiration date. But the strength you build from it will last forever. The question is not whether life will get hard, the question is whether you will. And if you're willing to do the work, the answer is yes, you will rise. You will adapt. You will thrive, because no matter how tough life gets, you are always tougher.
Chapter 9. Focus on your strengths and improve them relentlessly. Everyone has something they're naturally good at. Some people ignore it. Others compare it to what they're not good at. But the few who pay attention, the ones who notice their strengths and double down on them, they're the ones who move forward faster. They're the ones who start gaining confidence in their path, because they're not chasing someone else's ability. They're cultivating their own. If you really want to evolve, you need to stop obsessing over what you lack and start sharpening what you already have. You don't need to be great at everything. You need to be exceptional at something. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make a decision to take your strengths seriously. Not casually, not occasionally, relentlessly. It's not about bragging or proving to others what you can do. It's about understanding that your strengths are your leverage in a world that rewards focus. You become dangerous when you take your strengths and turn them into tools you use daily. That kind of energy can't be faked. It's earned through repetition. You don't have to force it. You just have to show up for it. And when you do that long enough, people start to notice. But more importantly, you start to notice. You start seeing how powerful you are when you stop watering yourself down, trying to be like everyone else. The problem with most people isn't that they're weak, it's that they're distracted. They waste their time fixing things that aren't broken. They spread themselves too thin, trying to keep up with people who aren't even in their lane. What they should be doing is identifying their edge and sharpening it every single day. If you're good at communication, master it. If you're great at problem solving, challenge yourself with bigger problems. If you're creative, don't let your creativity stay casual. Treat it like a craft. When you focus on your strengths, you unlock your flow. You stop forcing progress, and you start building momentum. That's how things accelerate. That's how you grow in a way that actually sticks. Because you're not constantly doubting your lane, you're building in it. You're finding the nuances of it. You're owning it. That's where your confidence lives. Not in what you say, but in what you build when nobody's watching. Too often, people confuse humility with self-denial. They downplay what they're good at, because they don't want to seem arrogant. But honoring your strengths isn't arrogance, it's alignment. There's no pride in hiding your potential. There's no growth in dimming your light. If you know you're good at something, stop pretending you're not. Use it. Own it. Develop it with discipline. Your job is not to be average at everything. Your job is to find what you're naturally wired to do, and then pour your energy into becoming elite at it. The more you build around your strengths, the more you start creating a life that makes sense to you. A life that flows, a life where you feel fulfilled, not just busy. And to get there, you have to take full responsibility for your development. Nobody is going to push you like you need to push yourself. Nobody is going to invest in your gift the way you will when you really commit to it. It starts with awareness. You can't improve what you don't recognize. So stop and ask yourself, what are the things I do with ease that others struggle with? What are the areas where I feel energized instead of drained? What do people always come to me for help with? Those questions aren't just reflective, they're revealing. They show you where your edge might be. Once you're aware of your strengths, the next step is relentless execution. You don't wait for motivation. You don't need permission. You create your own path by practicing your strengths in high-pressure situations. You challenge yourself. You put yourself in rooms where your strengths get tested. That's how you grow. Not by coasting, but by choosing the harder version of your strengths. By stretching what you thought was your limit. The world is full of people who start but don't stay consistent. They begin building something, but the moment it gets hard, they shift focus. That's why mastery is rare. It requires obsession. It requires saying no to things that look interesting, but don't align with your direction. It requires waking up every day with the intention to refine your strengths, not just use them casually. Improving your strengths is not just about doing more of what you're good at. It's about going deeper into it. It's about studying your performance, identifying patterns, correcting flaws, and pushing beyond your comfort. Most people plateau, not because they're out of time, but because they're out of intensity. They've stopped being deliberate. They've stopped being intentional. There's nothing more powerful than someone who knows what they're good at and takes it seriously. That kind of mindset leads to breakthroughs. That kind of energy attracts opportunity. When you get focused like that, people can feel it. Your work speaks for you. Your consistency speaks for you. You stop trying to impress and start making impact. The most successful people aren't trying to be everything. They've figured out what they're exceptional at, and they've turned it into their engine. They've built systems around it. They've said no to distractions, and they've accepted that excellence isn't exciting every day. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's exhausting, but it's always worth it. This journey isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. It's about waking up and deciding, today I will refine my edge. That's how you get better. That's how you stay dangerous. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop comparing your journey to others. You go all in on what makes you unique, and you stay locked in. People will tell you to work on your weaknesses. But here's the truth. If you become exceptional at your strengths, your weaknesses become irrelevant. The world rewards excellence, not well-rounded mediocrity. When you dominate your lane, you don't have to prove anything. You show up, and your results speak for themselves. Don't get caught chasing trends. Don't try to copy what's working for someone else. If it's not aligned with your strengths, it will burn you out. It will feel forced. You don't win by playing someone else's game. You win by mastering your own. So if you're a builder, build. If you're a speaker, speak. If you're a strategist, solve. Whatever it is that lights your fire, do more of that. And then get obsessed with improving it. Study people who are 10 steps ahead of you. Analyze how they think. Reverse engineer their process. Get around people who challenge you to grow. That's how you sharpen your edge. There's always another level. No matter how good you get, there's more refinement to do. The moment you think you've arrived, you stop growing. Stay a student. Stay humble enough to admit you can get better, and confident enough to know you have what it takes. That's the balance you need. This isn't about chasing perfection. It's about constant progress. Every rep counts. Every practice session matters.
Every failure is feedback. When you think like that, you stop fearing mistakes. You start using them. You start moving with purpose. You start becoming a force. And here's what most people don't understand. Focusing on your strengths doesn't mean you ignore your weaknesses. It means you stop letting them define you. It means you build so much strength in your area of excellence that it becomes your foundation. From there, you can delegate, you can collaborate, you can compensate, but your foundation must be strong. You can't build confidence by accident. You build it by making promises to yourself and keeping them. You build it by doing the hard work behind the scenes. You build it by knowing you've done the reps that others avoid. That's what makes you walk different. That's what gives you clarity in chaos. That's what allows you to stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. Your strengths are a gift, but what you do with them is your responsibility. You can't keep talking about your potential and never actualize it. You can't keep dreaming and not doing. At some point, you've got to decide to become what you were meant to be. Not halfway, not sometimes, fully. No one is coming to save your dream. No one is going to force you to take your growth seriously. That's your job. That's your commitment. If you want to build a life that feels aligned, if you want to walk through the world with clarity and conviction, you have to get obsessed with your strengths. You have to practice them until they become part of your identity. And here's the truth: when you do that, when you stop making excuses and start making progress, you become unstoppable. You stop seeking validation. You stop doubting your value. You build a mindset that knows this is my lane, and I'm not just in it. I'm owning it. Don't waste your potential. Don't let fear of failure or fear of judgment stop you from growing. You've got something in you that can't be replicated. Your only job is to develop it. Your only task is to go all in. That's how you rise. That's how you lead. That's how you win. Not by being everything, but by becoming the best at what you're already built for. Focus on your strengths. Improve them relentlessly. And watch everything change.
Chapter 10. Reflect on your journey and adjust your path daily. You can't grow if you never pause. You can't move forward with wisdom if you never take a second to look back and understand what's working and what isn't. Life is not just about hustle. It's not just about staying busy. It's about moving with direction. And that direction requires reflection. If you never evaluate, you will always operate blindly. And that kind of living wastes years. That kind of momentum burns out quickly. The people who get far in life aren't the ones who just keep moving fast. They're the ones who keep adjusting wisely. Reflection is not weakness. It's a sign of strength. It means you care enough about your life to study your own path. It means you're humble enough to admit you might need to change something. You might need to do less of what's not working and more of what is. It's easy to stay on autopilot. It's easy to say, I'll figure it out eventually. But the ones who win don't leave it to chance. They create their momentum by checking in with themselves constantly. You can't expect improvement if you never take time to learn from your actions. You can't expect clarity if you never create space for silence. The noise of the world will always try to pull you in 100 directions. And if you're not grounded in your own awareness, you'll follow paths that don't even belong to you. Reflection brings you back to center. It reminds you who you are, what matters to you, and how you've been showing up lately. Every single day is a chance to make a better decision. But most people don't take it because they don't pause. They don't track their habits. They don't write their thoughts. They don't ask themselves honest questions. And without that, They keep repeating the same mistakes. They confuse motion with progress. They think being busy means they're growing, but they're just circling the same patterns. The only way out is awareness. And awareness comes from honest reflection. This is not about being critical. It's about being honest. When you reflect daily, you become your own coach. You stop waiting for feedback from the outside and start creating it from within. You start to notice your own blind spots. You realize what decisions are draining your energy. You see where you've been showing up with half effort, and more importantly, you get the power to change it. A single moment of deep reflection can save you from months of wasted effort. One adjustment can completely redirect your path. But you don't get that insight by accident. You get it by showing up for yourself consistently. You get it by carving out time to review your habits, your choices, your mindset. It's not just about how hard you're working. It's about how aligned your effort is. You could be giving 100% in the wrong direction. And if you never stop to ask yourself, is this still the right path for me? You'll keep walking away from your goals. Nobody teaches you this in school. They teach you to plan, to execute, to chase goals. But rarely does anyone teach you the value of pausing, of asking, what did I learn today, or what patterns am I repeating? That kind of reflection builds self-awareness. And self-awareness builds direction. Without it, you end up chasing approval instead of alignment. You end up doing what looks right instead of what feels right. When you reflect daily, you begin to see the patterns of your life clearly. You notice which thoughts make you stronger and which ones break you down. You realize which routines are building your character and which ones are slowly eroding it. This isn't about overthinking. It's about clarity. It's about using reflection as a tool to sharpen your actions. There's a reason the most disciplined people always talk about journaling, tracking, reviewing. It's not because they're obsessed with themselves. It's because they know their time is limited. They don't want to waste energy guessing. They want data. They want clarity. They want proof. So they reflect. They ask hard questions. They look for patterns. And then they make changes, fast. You can't afford to live on default. You can't afford to go months without checking your progress. Time doesn't slow down. If you don't course correct daily, you'll find yourself 5 years off track and not even know how it happened. That's what happens when you live without intention. You wake up one day and realize you've been working hard on the wrong things. Reflection keeps you aligned. It brings you back to purpose. It reminds you what matters most. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself is develop the habit of honest daily self-checks. Not perfection, not guilt, just presence. Ask yourself, what did I do today that moved me forward? What held me back? Where did I slip? What can I adjust tomorrow? These questions might seem small, but over time they shape your direction. They change how you think. They help you evolve on purpose, not by accident. Most people only reflect when something goes wrong. When they hit a wall, when they burn out, when they fail. But by then the damage is already done. Real growth comes from reflecting while things are still working, so you can keep making them better. You don't have to wait for a breakdown to make a breakthrough. You can choose to improve proactively. You can choose to stay aware before life forces you to. Think about how much further ahead you'd be right now if you had reviewed your habits every day for the last year. How many bad decisions could you have avoided? How much energy could you have saved? That's the power of reflection. It multiplies your wisdom. It lets you learn from your own actions instead of repeating them blindly. Don't be afraid to face your own progress. Even if the truth stings a little,
That discomfort is where real growth begins. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. You need to face your habits and make decisions that align with the person you want to become. This world moves fast. You don't always have control over what happens around you, but you always have the power to pause, to step back, to ask yourself if the path you're walking still matches the person you're becoming. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. The person who reflects grows faster. The person who adjusts daily avoids disaster. The person who checks in with their purpose stays focused even in chaos. That's how you become unshakable. Not by grinding harder, but by thinking deeper. Not by doing more, but by doing what actually matters. Your journey is unique, so don't wait for someone else to validate your steps. Don't wait for a crisis to force you to change. Choose to reflect now. Choose to ask better questions. Choose to slow down just enough to speed up in the right direction. If today felt off, ask why. If you didn't follow through on your habits, ask where the resistance came from. If you reacted emotionally, ask what the trigger was. Reflection isn't just about reviewing your actions. It's about understanding your emotions, your thoughts, your patterns. That level of honesty creates massive self-awareness. Over time, you'll start to notice how small adjustments make a big difference. One better decision, one clearer intention, one smarter choice, and those stack up. They compound, they turn into momentum, and that momentum leads to massive change over time. Don't wait for the new year. Don't wait for the weekend. Don't wait for life to hit you in the face. Start reflecting now. Start adjusting now. Make it a habit to check in with yourself every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes might be the most important part of your day. It's not about being overly analytical. It's about caring enough about your life to stay aware of it. You can't master what you don't measure. You can't improve what you never review. And you can't become the best version of yourself if you're too afraid to face who you are today. There's no finish line for growth. You'll always be evolving. And that's the point. You don't reflect because you're not good enough. You reflect because you want to stay aligned with the best version of yourself. That's a daily process. That's a personal process. And it belongs to you. Your progress is your responsibility. Your alignment is your responsibility. And no one can do this work for you. So take your life seriously enough to pause. Take your growth seriously enough to review it. That's how you move forward with clarity, not confusion. The truth is, the people who reflect deeply and consistently are the ones who stay in control of their destiny. They don't let their days blur together. They don't let time pass without extracting wisdom. They use